Hi, I'm Deanna Springer. On behalf of Nancy Zieman Productions and PBS Wisconsin, welcome to the virtual Great Wisconsin Quilt Show. Enjoy this educational presentation, and afterward, be sure to explore all the virtual event has to offer, including beautiful virtual quilt exhibits, an interactive vendor mall, and more. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the show.
Hi, I'm Denise Abel. Thank you for joining us for the Great Wisconsin Quilt Show Virtual Edition, and thank you for joining me today for the Quick Quilting in the Hoop session. I'm excited to share with you how to combine machine embroidery and paper piecing techniques to make Fall Leaves mini wall quilt. I'll be adding a leaf applique embroidery design to quilt blocks and also sharing automated machine quilting. I'm making the Fall Leaves mini wall quilt today with our Nancy Zieman Productions Quick Quilting in the Hoop, Fall Leaves embroidery collection, Riley Blake Shades fabrics, Clover's mini iron, fusible no-show mesh cutaway stabilizer, and Schmetz embroidery needles and quilting needles. To start our Quick Quilting in the Hoop Fall Leaves embroidery design, we need to select what size we want to use with our embroidery machine. Included in the collection are options for 5-inch, 6-inch, and 8-inch embroidery designs. Today we're going to be working with the 5x7, and we'll also be using the embroidery design that has the Fall Leaves embroidery applique. So we are using a 5x7-inch hoop to go with that embroidery design. And what I'd like to do to make sure that the stabilizer stays taut in the embroidery hoop is take 1/2-inch Source Fix-It tape and apply it to the outside of the inner hoop so that the embroidery design does not distort or make the embroidered stabilizer shift. So we go all the way outside of the inner hoop, and then we go to hooping our stabilizer. So the fusible no-show mesh stabilizer has a beautiful function for fusing. If you take a look at the stabilizer, one side has sheen to it. That's the fusible side, and you want that facing up in your hoop. And so that the stabilizer stays nice and controlled, I like to put a jumbo wonder clip. And you might be wondering why I just don't cut the stabilizer away. What's nice about keeping the stabilizer on the roll, you conserve a lot of stabilizer because you're not wasting. So I like to keep the stabilizer on the roll with it hooped, and just enough play or to keep it loose by the machine just to allow it moving when the embroidery happens. When we go to the machine, we're going to be putting the stabilizer on, and we're going to stitch right on top of the stabilizer itself. The fabric comes as the embroidery design stitches, so we're just starting out with the stabilizer. You'll see me also having the surface for the fusible side up because we're fusing. But anytime that we're fusing and we have the hoop on the machine, we're going to want to tuck a little bit of a surface under there for pressing, for heat resistance. So this is a pot holder, and we've attached a little bit of fabric here so that it reminds us to remove the pot holder from underneath before we start stitching. So let's go to the boards here. So now we're going to have the hooped stabilizer on the machine, and the first thing that we're going to be doing is stitching a road map or a color in the lines type of map on the stabilizer. So it's just the stabilizer at this point, and you can take a look and see that there are numbers in each section. It's kind of like paint by number, but just with fabric. So our first stabilizer section is going to be the section number 1. Then we're going to position our fabric right on top of the number 1 section. At this point, we would take a mini iron with our pot holder underneath, and we're going to press this section in place. After that's pressed in place, the machine is going to then stitch around the outer perimeter of the square. And that is now the first part of the fabric for our block. The next section is going to be placing our fabric triangle in place over the section that is adjoining numbers 1, which is the green, and 2. So we know that we want to position a piece of fabric in this location. So with our 5-inch embroidered hoop design, we are going to cut our fabric strips, crosswise strips of the fabric, and we're going to then cut that into 5-inch squares. So we have a 5-inch square. We're going to cut on the diagonal 1 time, and then cut again on the diagonal a 2nd time, creating the perfect size triangles for our 5-inch block design. So we position this in place, and we then start the embroidery machine, and it stitches a 3rd time, this time stitching down the triangle. We're going to then flip the fabric over, and we are then going to press with our mini iron right in the hoop with our padded surface underneath, and that is going to be then added to our quilt block. The next thing the machine will do is stitch that triangle, down. Now we have 2 pieces of fabric fused to our block. The next section, we're going to then take our piece of triangle fabric, and we're going to position it between section 1 and section 3. We then are going to start the machine, and it's going to stitch that triangle in place. We don't have to worry about being fussy too much with the square, or with the triangles or the square, because you are positioning the fabric triangles right along the line that the machine has stitched. So as long as you're following the sequence, you'll get the fabrics right in place. So now that the machine has stitched that, we're going to flip, and we're going to fuse. So stitch and flip. After that triangle has been fused in place, we start the machine again, and it stitches it down. And we repeat this process over and over until we get our inner area triangles fused in place. So stitch and flip and press. We're now going to go to the outer edge of our quilt block. So this is section 6. And we're placing it right on the fabric, right on the line that previously stitched the other blocks down, the other triangles down. And we're going to stitch and flip once again. That will fill in our first corner. When we start the machine, it's going to stitch it in place once again. Next section, stitch and flip and press. Stitching it once again, stitch, flip, and press. And then we're getting down to the final steps here. Stitch, flip, and press. Stitch, flip, and press. Now we've got the entire block filled in with our fabric. We are going to then tape our edges down because we're going to be stitching a perimeter. And you can see here that I've used black thread to do that stitching. And all of the stitching lines are going to be covered within the seams. So you don't have to worry about any of the stitches showing. So we stitch the outer edge of the block. And now we're going to go to the applique part of the design. And the machine automatically goes to the applique because I selected the quilt block along with the applique right merged together. So no editing required, you just keep going with the machine. So with this outline, the first thing that the design did, with the applique I should say, is the stem, because the top of the stem will be covered with the applique fabric. And then the machine will stitch the outline that we want to then cover with fabric, because that's going to be our fabric applique. And you can see here that I've covered the this stitched out leaf design, and I like to keep my applique fabric on a strip so that I get the most use out of my fabric, just like I did my stabilizer. I just keep it on a little roll. So then we're going to start cutting away, like you see here. And we've also done the inner stitching of the leaf. The machine did the stitching for that, and then it did the final outline of the applique for the leaf. And then here's a sample of the cutout quilt block. Now, how did we get that cut out? We took our quilt block and took our ruler, and we, with our rotary cutter and mat, we cut on the 1/8 of an inch line. We align our ruler with the 1/8 inch line of the ruler alongside of that black stitching line. So we cut away this edge, then I flip the block and we cut this section away, always aligning the 1/8 inch of the black stitching line for the ruler. So that gives us our cutout blocks. And to piece our blocks, we then put them right sides together, and we just do a simple stitching, a straight stitching to combine our blocks. Then you can see I have 3 of the blocks stitched out, trimmed, and sewn together. And this is the back side, and you can see the seam allowances. You can see that the stitches are hidden right in that seam allowance. And to get this nice flat seam allowance, what I do is I press with an iron with a little bit of steam, and then I place the tailor's clapper or quilter's clapper on the seam line, and that steam from the fabric absorbs into the block of the wood and then makes a really crisp, nice, flat edge. When doing multiple blocks for a project, I also like to hoop the stabilizer really snug and close to the previous block. Again, saving on stabilizer. Once we have the blocks cut out, then we are piecing with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I like to use the quilting foot that is for 1/4 inch seams. You align the foot with the fabric and stitch a straight line, and everybody can do that. So it'll give us nice crisp stitching lines. Now you see I've stitched 3 of the blocks together for the mini quilt wall hanging, and you can see my 1/4 of an inch seam allowance has been pressed open. And you see all the stitching? It's hidden like I said it would be, so we don't have to worry about that showing in our quilt block project. So you did the 1/4 inch seam allowance, turned it to the opposite side, you've pressed, and what I like to do is press the seam allowances open, which distributes the bulk of the seam. And I take an iron with a little bit of steam, and then I take the tailor's clapper, which I like to call the quilter's clapper, and position over the iron seam allowance. And what the block is going to do, this is pure wood, and it's going to take that steam and heat and absorb right into the block so that your fabric is left with a nice, crisp, flat seam allowance. You would then finish your quilt with your favorite quilting techniques like stitch in the ditch, which I did on the Fall Leaves mini quilt. So use your favorite techniques for layering, for quilting, and for binding. Now I'd like to show you some quilting options for your project. For the Fall Leaves mini quilt, I did stitch in the ditch with our foot. You can see that there's a little guide in the very center of that foot. That is allowing me to guide that foot and the needle right behind it in the center down our seam allowances left by the piecing of the quilt blocks. And that allows me to have a perfect stitch in the ditch or stitching in the well of our seamed blocks. So on the Fall Leaves mini wall quilt, there's no machine quilting, but I did do easy peasy right in the line of the seam allowances with stitching in the ditch. I also did the same with the larger quilt. And if we take a look, again, I just simply guided my foot right along the seam that's left from piecing, right down the middle, and I use translucent or clear thread to do so. Now before I can quilt, I certainly want to do my layers. So we have my backing, my batting, and then my quilt top. And then I've stitched in the ditch just right around each square, starting in the middle. We want to stitch in the middle and work outward so there's no bumpiness in our quilt making. So you can see on the back here, we have squares. And I also stitched around the outer edge using a 1/8 inch seam allowance. So I have this quilted project ready to do machine embroidered quilting in the sections where the appliques are not. So in with the embroidery collection are templates that you can print out. No editing needed, no software needed. These are included as printable files right in with the files of the collection. So what I like to do is take and trim my template down to just around the size of the quilting. And this is a 100% replication of the embroidery design. And then I select where I want to do the machine quilting. So this is an overlapping leaves embroidery design. And I'm going to align the center of the design along with the seams of the quilt. So I position that right in place. And of course, I'm at home, I'm going to take a little bit more time to get that right in position. And I've taken Source Fix-It tape and I've taped to the quilt. Now what's nice about the Source Fix-It tape, it's not overly tacky, so it's not going to leave any fusible on your fabric. It's going to come off really nicely. So now that I have the template in place, you then align the centers of the hoop with the centers of the template. And when I get this hooped with my outer hoop underneath, my inner hoop on top, and I press it down and hoop it. So once it's hooped, I can then take the template away and start the machine and do my quilting. And we'll see on the larger quilted project, the overlapping leaves stitched right in the position where I place the template. And then you would proceed to go on using the same template. The stickiness of the tape works over and over. And position, once again, the hoop at the center lines. Position the under hoop or the outer hoop underneath. Hoop, take the template away, and again, start the machine, and the overlapping leaves design stitches right on the quilt where the template was. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you'll enjoy Quick Quilting in the Hoop in your next quilt. You'll find our new Quick Quilting in the Hoop Fall Leaves collection, along with exclusive project bundle boxes and our exclusive quilt show specials at shopnzp.com.
Thank you for joining us with Quick Quilting in the Hoop with Denise Abel. And welcome, Denise, for live Q&A. You're at the studios in Beaver Dam of Nancy Zieman Productions. Welcome.
Yes, here behind the scenes. Great to be here with you.
That's great to have you, and it's great to have the viewers tuning in and asking questions today about your technique. So we'll get started.
Excited.
Yes, we'll get started. The first is a question from Carol. Carol is asking about the tape. What was that tape you showed at the beginning of your presentation? You put it on the edge of the hoop.
Yes, that is the Soares Fix-It tape. We actually have it in two different sizes. We have the 1/2 inch, which I love showing on the hoop to give a little bit of grip. It's got some texture to it, so when you're hooping just one piece of stabilizer, it comes in really handy so that you don't have to worry about the tension of the hoop. You still use your tension screw on the hoop, but putting the tape on the outside of the inner hoop. So it's the outside of the inner hoop. So I place it along the top edge first, and it just goes right on there. And then I go all the way around. And when I come up to the top again, I just kiss the two edges together. So I don't overlap, I just kiss it together. And when you feel it, you'll be able to feel that texture to that tape. But what I really love is that I can take it off and it doesn't leave any residue behind. So there's a lot of different things that this tape can help with in the sewing room or the embroidery studio that I have at home. And it works beautifully. The 1-inch tape comes in really handy for the in the hoop projects as well. The larger size gives more adhesive, so it's great for taping down any backing or batting that you put on the underside of the hoop.
And I use it a lot in sewing too, and everything you talked about is available at the website, shopnzp.com.
Yes, we have great show specials this weekend.
And we have another question from Charlotte. Charlotte is asking, does the embroidery file include the outline stitching shown in the beginning of your presentation?
Yes, that's a great question. It definitely does. So we have the exclusive book here made at Nancy Zieman Productions. And I'm just going to open up the book and show that we have great step-by-step instructions for 3 different projects. So you'll notice the detail, and it is step by step by step. It doesn't leave anything to the imagination. Everything is included. And this book actually comes to you. It's not a PDF that you have to print out. So it's a great, nice stapled book that you can lay right at your embroidery machine. And the embroidery files come right to you when you order the book and the embroidery collection. They actually get mailed to you. So no worrying about a CD or needing your USB until you place the designs on a USB to put into your machine. And the embroidery files definitely have the outline stitching that was shown on the block that was finished. And I have a sample here of that right here. So for the demonstration, I had used black thread all the way around. And actually for this whole piecing, you wouldn't know it, but I used black thread. Normally I would use a coordinating thread, but black is great for the outline. If you can see that, I'm not sure if there's much, if it's close enough, but that black outline allows you to put your quilting ruler along that black outline and cut around it. And what is great is you're cutting 1/8 of an inch beyond that black stitching line. So when you sew your blocks together, all of that is hidden in the seam. You don't have to worry about that peeking out. It goes together really, really nicely.
And it cleanly trims off the excess fabric pointers or dog ears, we call them. And then all your blocks are a uniform size when you assemble your quilt.
That's right, yes.
Right.
And I wanted to just point out really quick, I do have the 3 sizes here of one of the block styles. This is the maple leaf. So we have a 5-inch, a 6-inch, and an 8-inch block for all of the different designs that are included in the book. And if I show the front again, you can see that not only do we have maple leaf, we have all different designs, including a berry design, and there's 2 quilting design motifs included that I used one of them to quilt both of the projects.
Peggy is asking, could you please explain how you cut the applique fabric from around the appliqued leaf?
Okay, yes. The applique is called an automatic applique, where you have your design finished, your block finished, and you can sew any of these blocks without the appliques. We've included those as well. But with the applique, the block finishes, does the outline, and then it goes right into the applique process. Some of the designs have the leaf stem stitch first, and then it does an outline stitch where your applique is going to lay. So there's no guesswork of where that applique fabric can lay. So after the outline is stitched, you position the fabric on top, and then the machine stitches again. So then you have your basic shape applique outlined, and then you take a sharp, possibly a curved scissors or sharp nippers that you have, and trim away that excess fabric. And one little hint that I'll tell you about is I don't trim the fabric away from the applique until it's ready to do the satin stitching on the outside, which allows you to have all the decorative and detailed stitching all done before you do the satin stitching, so that if there is a little bit of play in the fabric, it doesn't peek out beyond or get sucked in when the applique process. And another quick tip is for nice flat fabric applique or applique fabric, you want to starch it or use an alternative starch to make sure that your fabric is nice and crisp, and then it really cleanly cuts away. And that's also great for the in the hoop process, where you're stitching and flipping the fabric and then ironing it down. It gives a really crisp, flat block.
Great tips, Denise. A viewer from Illinois is asking, what are your recommendations for quilting in the hoop with a larger quilt?
For the actual quilting process, you definitely, from what knowledge we have from traditional quilting, you want to start in the middle of your quilt and hoop out. So as you're in the middle, what you want to do is kind of think of a curly mustache where you turn both edges of your quilt inward. And I would use the Wonder Clips, the large Wonder Clips from Clover, to then clip onto the ends of your rolled quilt, and you're leaving your inner quilt open. So then what fits in underneath your throat plate area of your machine, you want to make sure that's nice and tight. So as you're progressing outward, your rolls on the outside become smaller and smaller until you get to the edge. And then you can certainly flip your quilt around, get your other edge that's rolled up still in your throat plate, and you can always turn your embroidery design or quilting design upside down in your embroidery machine editing software if you need to.
Great tips. And then you're letting the machine do the work while you're comfortably seated in front of your rolled quilt.
Definitely. And another quick tip about that, we want to use our process for quilting or stitching in the ditch first. Everybody can quilt using the stitch in the ditch process, where we have the top, the batting, and the backing all together, and you stitch in the ditch in the middle outward. And that really helps keep your quilt together for your decorative pretty stitches that your embroidery machine is going to stitch.
Great. And a question from Katie. Katie is asking, how do you put the hot pad under the quilt when you are in the quilting process? Do you have to actually lift out the quilt? So I think she maybe means, do you have...
Here it is. I have so many tools and notions that I just love to use. So here is the little pot holder, and you just tip up your hoop a little bit and you position your pot holder underneath. And then you can use your iron, your little mini iron, to then iron that in place. Here we go. Here's my mini iron. Here we go. So if this was attached to your machine, you have your pot holder underneath. And then you can certainly use the mini iron right in the hoop with under the machine. So the foot actually fits right underneath the pressing foot if you need to. And you'll see that we have a little extension on our pot holder here. So when you're doing the construction, you're doing the stitch flip method that you go back and forth between stitching, positioning, flipping, ironing. So you get in a process or a rhythm, and sometimes you might forget, oh, I need to take this pot holder out before I go to the next step. So that's what this long fabric tail is for. So it reminds me to then take that out of underneath the hoop. And ask me how I know to do that, to leave your pressing surface larger than underneath the hoop, because I have stitched my pot holder to my block before. And that can happen.
That was our next question from Lynn from Madison, Wisconsin. She was asking, did you add the fabric to your pot holder because you actually accidentally stitched it in place before?
She's spot on. She exactly knows. Yes.
So that's when you get out your reverse stitcher and probably work from the bottom of the hoop, the pot holder, and do some reverse stitching with a seam ripper. Remove
yes,
that.
And luckily it's not satin stitching, or it's just a straight stitch line for the construction. So it is easier to take out, but it's the easiest if you don't do it at all.
And once you do it at least once, you'll be reminded, oh yeah, that flag extension is there, so that we don't do that again. Another Denise. Denise from Iowa is asking, Denise in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, what do you think about using a walking foot with a 1/4 inch seam?
Oh, yes, I definitely use my walking foot at home. It's a wonderful tool to have. And what I do when I'm setting up using the walking foot for the 1/4 inch, if I'm doing my test and I stitch along a line and I see if I need to move my needle, because the walking foot may not be an exact 1/4 inch, or a scant 1/4 inch is what we like to use when we're seaming together. So you can certainly just move your needle so that it's a scant 1/4 inch away from the right edge of your foot. Walking feet are a wonderful tool, and we do have those available here at shopnzf.com.
And Clovis is asking, Denise, do you always use the simple quilting in all your quilts? Do you always stitch in the ditch first before your machine embroidery?
That's a great question. I absolutely do. Even with my smallest projects, I definitely stitch in the ditch first. It really gives me the freedom to have the quilt all together. It gives me the freedom to then do the decorative stitching afterwards. It keeps everything together, and it's so much easier to handle. I don't have to worry about my backing or my batting drooping away as I'm doing my decorative quilting with the embroidery machine. It makes it really stress-free.
And then you can choose if you don't want to put the machine quilting motif in every single block. It's quilted down with stitching in the ditch too.
It is, and then as long as you're stitching within the allowance of your batting, then you can certainly wash it, and you don't have to worry about the batting coming apart. It's stitched in place. It's not going anywhere.
Jerry is asking about the piecing. Are the triangle fabric pieces oversized? Do we have to test flip it so we don't run short or have short pieces like happens with some paper piecing?
When we use the instructions along in the book, you'll notice that we do cut the fabric triangles and the fabric squares oversized. And what's really great about this process with the 5-inch, the 6-inch, and the 8-inch hoop, you use 5-inch squares. And you either cut them into fourths for the smaller hoops, or in half. So you're cutting a 5-inch square in half or in quarters to create those triangles. And they're just the right size, so you're not wasting. Like I said in this morning's presentation on Facebook Live, my husband prefers to call me or I prefer to call myself thrifty, but my husband David doesn't always call me thrifty. He might say, "Oh, you're being cheap," and I do. I am very thrifty, and I'm mindful of fabric and stabilizer, just like a lot of our customers are. And consumers and our friends, we always want to make sure that we're using the supplies as the wisest we can. So it's in the instructions. It's very mindful of fabric, so you're not wasting any fabric.
Very efficient, Denise. And Lou is asking, can the embroidery files be used with any brand embroidery machine?
They are multi-formatted designs that come with the embroidery collection. So multiple machines can use, so virtually any machine that has a 5 by 5 inch hoop can use these designs. Some of the machines that were introduced in the early 90s, they don't necessarily have the biggest hoop sizes. So what you want to make sure is don't worry about the formats. The formats are included for all different machines that have a 5 inch hoop and larger. So think about, does my machine have a 5 inch hoop? And if it does, these designs will work with it.
Great. And a viewer from Illinois is asking about the designs. Is this a file from Nancy Zeman?
It is. This collection, this book, and the embroidery collection is exclusive from Nancy Zeman Productions. So it comes right from here at Shop NZP or Nancy Zeman Productions, and the files come to you. They are emailed. So as soon as you order, we will get that order on the way with the book shipping out to you, and the embroidery files will be emailed to you.
It's a beautiful new fall leaves collections that's just brand new this summer. It's a brand new collection. I do know that.
Brand new, yes.
And Lou is asking, could we use a scrap of wood to absorb the moisture when pressing the seams if we don't have a tailor's clapper?
That would be a quick, efficient use. You just want to make sure that it is flat and sanded and you're not going to get slivers in your project or worse, in yourself. So that would work in a pinch. The nice thing about the tailor's clapper is it's all nice and sanded. It's rounded. It's easy to grip. This is what I love about the tailor's clapper, quilter's clapper, is that it has this indentation for your fingers. So it's easier to grip and hold onto and press down. That is one feature I love about the contoured tailor's and quilter's clapper. And definitely that was created in the tailoring arena, but quilters love it as well. It's a great tool to use.
And Sandy on Facebook is asking, do you have a book, an embroidery collection with step-by-step directions like this for other things like birds or flowers?
Well, since I'm behind the scenes here at Shop NZP and Nancy Zeman Productions, we do have another collection in the works that you're going to love for the upcoming season. So a little sneak peek there. It is in the works, and we hope to supply many more. So give us your ideas. Email us at go to the website at shopnzp.com or nancyzeman.com/blog and reply to us and let us know your thoughts. So birds would be a wonderful collection.
And Denise from Rochester, another Denise, is a longtime fan. Denise, I know you were Nancy Zeman's embroidery specialist. Did you design this new collection?
I did. Along with my coworkers, we dove in, and I wanted to have a fall collection. I'm a leaves person. I love leaves, and I like producing things that not only what I love, but I know that consumers and customers and friends of us love to create. So yes, we created that here, and with the collection, again, the book has the step-by-step instructions, and that is what I learned from Nancy. She was a wonderful influence, and I'm blessed to say friend, and she taught me the step-by-step process, not only from on the program, but within her reference materials. So yes, developed right here with that in mind.
Great. Kelly is asking, what is the purpose of the fusible stabilizer? Could you just use a regular mesh cutaway stabilizer?
The two stabilizers that I must have in my embroidery studio is the no-show mesh regular, which we do carry at shopnzp.com, as well as the fusible mesh. And the fusible mesh, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to pick up on this, but it does have the fusible dots on it. And what that does is it allows us to have the fabric lay flat, perfectly flat. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I like my blocks as flat as possible. And what that does is it grips and holds onto the fabric, not only during the construction process, but during the wearing and washing, or using and washing. You can certainly use the mesh stabilizer that does not have the fusible. You want to make sure that you definitely pre-press your fabrics with the starch or starch alternative to make sure that it's nice and crisp. So when you do fold it over, I would use the roll and press from Clover, or even the point-to-point turner from Clover, or finger press. But it's nice to have where you can fold and crisply fold that fabric down so that it lays flat. We don't want it catching on another reason is safety. We don't want it catching on the foot as it moves around, because it's doing a lot of action constructing. So I definitely have used just the regular no-show mesh, but I do prefer the fusible. Try it. Try anything you have on hand. Use the tools that you have in your sewing room and give it a shot. It's one block, and it's something that you can turn into another project, depending on which way you like using that. So 2 stabilizers to have in your sewing room. I've been told that I'm the stabilizer queen, but
You are. You have a large collection. And the next question is more of a compliment about your fabric selections in the project bundle that's available for the finished quilt that you show.
When I was designing the projects, I wanted a watercolor look. And I wanted to make sure that the design itself and the quilting and the applique stood out. So I used the solid fabrics and used a watercolor effect to radiate out.
Just beautiful, great color selections. And some of the viewers know, and some may not, that you are my sister. Denise and I are sisters, and we stitch at Nancy Zieman Productions, and we stitch on Stitch It Sisters with our sister Dana. So
yes.
Dana, Denise, and I have fun stitching. And I happen to, because I'm your sister, I happen to know your background. Before you started working for Nancy Zieman Companies, you were in the industrial side of machine embroidery.
Yes, I worked for a commercial company, and we created embroidered outfits for large retail box stores. We were licensed. We NFL and baseball and you name it, different colleges we designed. And I actually was the manager on one of the shifts, and we had 10 different machines running at the same time, but on each of the 10 machines were 10 different heads. And imagine sitting at your sewing machine or your embroidery machine and stitching, multiply that by 10 times. So as one design is stitching in one hoop, it's happening at the same time in the other 9 hoops. And so the machine has a platform that moves around just like the machines do for home embroidery, but multiplied by 10.
Well, managing one machine is definitely easier than the 10-head machine that you were running there, especially when you have to clip threads and things. It's 10 times the work. So, yeah, your techniques and expertise really come in handy. And Jenny from Anago, Wisconsin, is saying, "Love this, Denise. What machine did you use for this, to make this?"
I used a baby lock, and here I used a baby lock as well to stitch those together. But really, any embroidery machine with the 5 by 5 inch hoop or larger works great. I have several friends with different machines, and it all works beautifully with the multi-format designs.
Well, great inspiration, Denise, and it's so great talking with you and having you part of the Great Wisconsin Quilt Show, and now a part of the Nancy Zieman Productions teams as well. So thank you for being here today.
It was great. Thank you so much.
And you can head over to quiltshow.com and find Nancy Zieman Productions under the Vendor Mall tab. So click on Vendor Mall and explore all the vendors, and then also take in all the spectacular quilt exhibits in the three-dimensional excellent tour of all the quilts over at quiltshow.com. Enjoy.